I like to talk about the S assault because I know um, YouTube and different social networks can be censoring and sensitive to certain words. So, you know what rhymes with grape and physical abuse. And I'm experiencing that at the Anna Louise Inn currently. And I would like to go into greater detail on how. So their maintenance man, Evan, was paid by a Cincinnati prostitution cartel to install hidden cameras all throughout my apartment. So that's part of this S abuse is that the maintenance man, Evan, Gordon, Beth, and whoever else they have involved, they're able to watch me do anything in my home. Poop, pee, have menstruation cycles, shower, whatever I do in my home, they're able to view all of it. So that's part of the S assault. And Evan likes to play Mr. Helpful. So on the outside, it looks helpful, but if a man is watching you privately in your home, the last thing you want is for that man or person to be next to you like that. So Evan likes to play Mr. Helpful. Why? Because a human trafficker tries to get the victim to act out. Okay, especially if they know they're being videotaped. Okay, so then Evan likes to stand there and says, "Hey, why are you acting like that?" Or Beth, this is part of their mental abuse, along with the physical abuse of being videotaped and mocked and laughed at, because they're not sorry about what they're doing. They signed up for what they're doing and they get paid for what they do every day. And I like to talk about the physical violence part. So there's something that the neighbor on the side of me and the neighbor upstairs, they are using some type of equipment. This is not just normal banging or even like kids stomping over your head. That's like loud. It can be loud. No, these are I don't know what to call it because I can't see what they're using, but they're using equipment to where it vibrates through the my furniture. So whatever they're using, it shakes me. So they're physically assaulting me through equipment through the wall. And they're able to do it by watching me closely on surveillance. So when I'm in my bed, the neighbor upstairs, she starts banging, vibrating hard, or she drops some type of chrome or some type of metal that hits directly. So she does a quiet one too, but it's still loud. It's weird. It's very abusive. And I've never experienced anything like this in my life other than 2022, living at the last three apartments that I've lived at, that the YMCA has made deals with my landlords and the neighbors. They're paying the neighbors to do this to me. And they're also doing it at the Anna Louise Inn. Now, this sounds crazy. It sounds weird. It sounds wild. It sounds far fetched. It sounds like all of the above. It sounds like something you've never even heard of in a movie. But this is exactly the type of criminal activities that human traffickers do to their victims. And it's currently happening at the Anna Louise Inn. And Beth and Gordon, they get paid to participate. They not only participate, but they allow it to go on the property. And this doesn't just happen like every other few minutes. Every time I move, every time I go to the kitchen, the person upstairs goes into their kitchen. So they're stump, stump, stump. Something very weird they're doing to where I could, because they say, well, she's only 100 pounds. I'm like, exactly. She's a very small woman. So how is she making all that noise? Exactly. So this is a gaslighting projecting that Beth and Gordon do. That's why I stopped complaining to them, because I saw what they were doing. I said, uh-oh, the human trafficking has followed me here. So I saw they were trying to set me up by allowing her to do that. Because if you're being physically assaulted, that's going to cause anyone to get aggressive, and that's going to cause anyone to get violent. And that's exactly what they want, so that the Cincinnati police can do their illegal arrest. I've already been there and done that at my last apartment, and having to get out of jail because someone had framed me, like what Beth and Gordon are doing at Anna Louise. Someone starting a physical altercation. So these people at the Anna Louise, they're getting paid to physically and assault me in hopes that I act out so that I can be arrested. And I feel like that's so unfair, that I have to be physically assaulted and assaulted by their staff, their management, and their neighbors, pay them rent, and be threatened to get kicked out. Because that's the other part about it. Of course, I'm going to make these recordings, but that's how human traffickers work. They force you to sell yourself, and then if you speak up about it, they try to make you homeless. They try to make you jobless. And that's another thing. These human traffickers, they come up to your job, because they want the woman to be without a job. The lifeguard, Zach, he has a person that works at my current job. I don't know how they do it. But this is how human traffickers operate. Even in my nursing career, they had men and women, every time I came outside, would come up to my car, walk around my car at all sorts of times. I did 12-hour shifts, so they did it frequently. Every time I came outside for a smoke, and I'm a smoker, every time I came outside for a smoke, they coordinated someone to come outside. I don't know how they've been doing it. They're doing it here at the Anna Louise Inn, that same trafficking type of criminal behavior. And every time I go to my kitchen at the Anna Louise, there's noise. There's noise intimidation. And the women are watching me in my home. So when they see I'm about to get up or something, they rush to where my door is, and it looks like they're having a normal conversation, but they're yelling and screaming, and they're bumping into the wall, and they're doing weird stuff. So every time I get up to go get something to drink, here comes loud noise. Here comes slamming. The neighbor next to me, she slams the door like 20 times a day. Boom, 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 boom. Then when I'm eating, she has equipment too. The lady that's on the side of me, she has equipment too. And when I'm eating, I'll feel something slap me in my head. Nothing slapped me in my head. It's the vibration of whatever they're hitting against that wall. I have never felt anything. It's like someone is physically hitting me, and no one is touching me. But when the neighbor on the side, like when I'm sitting on my couch, they're watching me surveillance. So she goes to where that part of her wall is, and she'll start banging where my head is at. When I go to bed, the lady upstairs, so they're both doing it. They're watching on surveillance where I'm at. So if I'm at the window, they'll start banging by the window. This is how they have it. I know it sounds crazy, but this is what they have set up at the Anna Louise Inn. And I'm here to expose it, because no one should have to live like that. And they think that they can keep going because the judges and lawyers and cops are all in on it. But just because the lawyers, cops, and judges are in on it doesn't mean I'm not going to make videos about it. Not videos, but podcasts. And I thank you all for bearing with me for, concealing my identity. But this is the abuse that's going on. And then Beth basically said, you can't prove it. So this is how ugly she is. And she pretends like she's a woman's advocate. She said, I need mental. She said, Bianca, have you taken your medication today? So this is how she came at me. And because I said something about the noise upstairs, all of a sudden, I'm getting notices of termination, even though I would love to live somewhere else. Because who wants to be videotaped? But everywhere I move, the YMCA has sold my information. So every apartment I move into, a few weeks later, they've already made a deal with the landlord, and I'm in a square one again, being exploited. Neighbors all in my business, and I'm not the type of woman that have people in my business on my own. So because some people complain about problems where they live at, and they're the cause of it. Like, you're running your mouth too much. You're in your neighbor's business too much. You're outside too much. I don't do any of those things. I've had my own apartment for a very long time, since I was 17 years old. And I have always had the discipline, type of military type of attitude I've always had, even at 17 years old. Don't bring people in your home like that. Even at 17, I thought like that. So that's why I'm saying the reason why these people are doing this is because they're getting paid to do this. I haven't done anything to these people at Anna Louise. I didn't do anything to the people at the YMCA. These people chose this, and they want to take it out on me because of their actions for greed, for money, that have nothing to do with me. So now the Anna Louise and the YMCA, they both have a burden to bear to try to get me falsely arrested to get the heat off of them. Now, how fair is that? Not very fair at all. I mean, I understand this is reality, but it's definitely not going to be mine. Not without a fight, and not without exposing it online through episodes. Look, it's been a pleasure talking to you all. Um, I will make other episodes, and I thank you for listening. Take care, and God bless.